So welcome to the SuperSCADA training video on how you set up products and a BOM when you've got a two-stage process. So an example of this would be an animal feed mill where you're making batches to a pelleting bin, and then there's a separate process which starts up through a pelleting machine, maybe put on some molasses or some other material, and then routes it to a finished product bin. So what you do is on the top left-hand side of the system here, home menu, so go to manufacturing, go to products, and we'll create a new one now. Let's create it pig breeder 22, and we're going to create, hang on a moment, we're going to call it pig, and we'll call it WIP, as in this is the first stage, work in progress, that's going to be made from batches into the pelleting bin. So the units of measure is always going to be kg. The template tags is a WIP, and the internal reference, call this pig breeder 22 WIP. On the second tab here, inventory, we're going to track it by lots. Everything else is optional there. And on the SuperSCADA side of things, it's going to go through the blending. So this is our plant, has got two stages, blending and press. This is the bit that goes through the blending. And because it's going to go into a bin on the graphics, we're going to click on this down here. But if you notice up at the top, it's got a little cloud symbol. This is to save it manually. We won't click on that yet. But when I click on this one here, if it's going to go into the graphics on a bin, click on that, it automatically saves it. And you see that cloud has disappeared. So that is the first product defined. So if we go and click the second one, so this is going to be pig breeder 22. So this is the finished product. We'll start off in general information. Same thing here, kg, and the template tab. So this is going to be a finished product, and the internal reference, we'll call it pig breeder 22. Inventory, now we're going to be doing the tracking. We're going to track it by lots. Everything else is optional. SuperSCADA, this is going to go through the press, as in the second stage of our plant. And this is the important thing here. This is going to be the linked product. So the WIP is going to be linked. So we're going to make this pig breeder 22, but it's going to pull out the WIP. And because this is going to go into a bin on the graphics, we're going to select that there. So that's it saved. Now we need to create a bill of materials. So we create a new bill of materials here. So let's call it pig breeder 22. So we create the WIP for the main product, 22, and most of the time, if you want to define this in percentage, put in 100 here. Now I know it says kg, but this means 100 as in percentage. So we'll add some materials. So let's create something really simple. Wheat at, if we call it 49%, and then oats, oats at also 49%. Now, on this plant, we can add molasses downstream, so that's in the second stage. So if we type molasses mol, what it's called on this plant, mol max, and let's say what 2% of that. Now, the definition of mol max, it automatically knows it's put on downstream. So that is our formula up to 100%. On the operations, there's nothing to put down there, and on the miscellaneous, flexible consumption, you must have this because we don't want warnings if there's a slight weighment change. So you can add other things, but that is basically it. We're going to save that there. Now, these products are going to need the parameters. So if you go to the home menu, SuperSCADA parameters for the product, and we're going to create, because it's new, it's our product, so this is going to be Pig Breeder 22. We're going to do a search for. Here we are. So let's do the work in progress first. So it's on the blending, and so what we'll do is we'll copy the parameters, and we'll copy the parameters from another product, Pig Breeder 21. So that'll be very similar. So we're going to copy it, blending, confirm. So that copies the parameters. Now these are things like, you can see the minimum batch size, maximum batch size, and so on. Here's the mix time, total mix time. Now we don't want to, for this purpose of this, we'll just do a very small mixing, so we'll reduce that a bit. And this plant has got 2 grinders. You can see a whole pile of parameters with the grinder 1, grinder 2. And when we're happy with that, we just press save. So now we need to do the parameters for the finished product that goes through the press machine. So if I do a search for 22, here's the finished product, and the line is going to be on the press. Then say copy parameters from another product, and we can do, if I copy it from the Pig Breeder 21, that's it, the press, so I'm copying it from them, and I'm not too sure what I've done there. Let's copy it from somewhere else then. Press. Right, I'm not too sure what happened then, but that must have been something that I've set up incorrectly. So these are all the parameters for the pelleting, the press machine. For instance, the set point, enable steam and ramps and so on. And this will be subject of another video. So we've got the parameters now, and so therefore we go back to the inventory. We go to blending. We're going to be blending something. So if we add a new works order, manufacturing order. So what we're going to make is the R22. So this is this Pig Breeder 22, and we're going to make, say, 4 tons. This particular plant now will make it in 2-ton batches, so that's 2 batches. Here are our ingredients that are going to go in. So if you go to work orders, there's nothing to put there. Miscellaneous, nothing to put there. SuperSCADA. Now we do need to know which lines are there, but if we confirm it first, then you'll see on the SuperSCADA tab here, it's going to go down the manufacturing line blending, because we've only got 1 blending line, and we've only got 1 press line, so it's going to go down the press line afterwards. So if we want to check if everything looks all right, press on this button here, SuperSCADA code, and over on the right hand side it said coded OK. So that all looks good. So if we go back to the overview and we go back to blending, you'll see this is our one here. So the manufacturing order number is BL 001313 today. Here it is, and we want it's going to create 4 tons. So if I go on to the production program on the system, now it hasn't appeared yet here because this was yesterday's requirement, but it automatically refreshes every 30 seconds, or if you want to force it, you can actually switch it to live mode, then back again. You can see here are requirements here, 2 batches. So if I go to enable it, I can drag it across to be planned, and just say I just want to make 1 batch. So I say OK, put it back to the normal mode, and then if I go to the graphics here, we'll see that the batch has already just started. So this is the wheat going into the weigher. It requires 980. Just zoom in a bit. Zoom in a bit more. It requires 980, and this is it weighing up here. So the order number BL 0013 and batch number 1 of that, and it's feeding off feeder A2. So it's just stopped now, gone by about 10 kilos over, but that was within tolerance, so that's okay. It's logged. It's now gone on to the oats. If I drag it down here, you'll see at the top here there's oats. So it's same amount, 980 kg, and it's got halfway there already. So now gone on to tolerance check, logs it, and it's waiting to discharge. Now if I zoom out a touch, you'll see that it's now discharging up this elevator into the grinder bin. And there are all these symbols on the graphics are explained in a separate video, but now the discharger has finished. Now cleaning up this elevator here, and you can see there's a timer here for the clean out time still to go, for it to go into this grinder buffer bin, or actually it's a live bin. And now what it's doing now is it's starting up the discharge from there up to these grinder buffer bins here, and it started the grinders already. They took a little while to start, and it's now going to the mixer over here. Now this plant is simulated, so the live bin is actually emptied already, and the discharger out of the live bin has stopped. So the batch is now going out of these two buffer bins. You can see now the levels have just gone under, very quick grinding, and it's transferring into the mixer still. So this plant, when it goes into the mixer, before I say that, it's actually cleaning out. It's emptied now from the grinders, and this is the clean out time into the mixer, 12 seconds to go. So now it's all in the mixer, and it's now counting down from our 25 seconds, the mixing time. And just zoom in a bit. So all the details here, this is batch 1, mixing time nearly finished. And it's setting up the route now to discharge. It's now discharging the mixer, so that is green. You can see the mixer clean out time is 5 seconds to go. So the mixer is now empty, and this is the clean out time from the underhopper. We have simulated a number of things, but maybe not all of the level probes. So it's now got 15 seconds to go into the pelleting bin PB1. And we show that if I zoom out a bit and then go across, the rest of the plant is here. Now it's automatically populated this pelleting bin with the code PB22 WIP. And what I can do is we can now start up the pelleting system. So I click on the start. Now it comes up with a message, no product in location. That means it's still transferring the batch across. So if I just leave it a couple more seconds, start, here we go here. So this is the source, press PB1. This is the product name, and it says no locations available. So I'll just cancel that. Now what happens is, if I scroll down here, we don't have room in our two finished product bins. So I'll click on this empty and clear to clear A10. And if I go back now and start it again, here's our source, PB1, PB2, and a location. So I can select it. Now I've only got one bin available, and it defaults to this 4 tons, but you can have what you want then. And these are the parameters that the operator can adjust. Now, when a system's operating properly, a lot of these things we will remove from the operator, but this is a plant during commissioning. We can change any of those if we want, and then press the start button. And so it starts up. What happens is, first of all, starts filling this pelleting bin here from here. So now it's running up to here. You can see the level probe is already covered. It started up the pelleting mill, and the feeder has started up. And it starts up at a fixed speed. Now the actual control of the pelleting mill will be a separate video, but that just describes how the system works with its products and bill of materials. Thank you very much.